Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Today's show is brought to you by Surfshark. Surfshark is a virtual private network, a VPN, and one of the best things about Surfshark is its data protection services, making sure my private messages, videos, photos and other sensitive material are well protected. My personal favourite feature on Surfshark, and the one you'll most be interested in, is that you can change your location on Netflix or any other online streaming platform and watch them from anywhere in the world. You can use Surfshark on as many devices as you like, even if they're being used at the same time, and it's available on platforms such as iOS, Android, Fire TV, Amazon. I could go on, but I think you get the picture. And because Surfshark are super nice, they're giving United Stand viewers 83% off and 3 months free when you use the code United Stand. Link in the video description as always. Thanks again to Surfshark, and now on with the video. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Thiago, Tellez, Smalling, and I tell you what, lots to get through tonight. Some big debates to talk about actually, because I want to talk about Solskjaer. I want to talk about this season. We're only 3 nights out from a game against Crystal Palace. I also want to talk about this perceived change. I saw somebody today saying, oh, you know what, it might not be good for Manchester United fans, but you know, the United have changed track on the way that they're doing transfers, and in the long term they're going to reap the benefits. Needless to say, he's got at Man United in his bio, but we'll talk about that. But let's start off. Some quite interesting. Look, I don't want to talk about the lad from Dortmund tonight. We spoke about it this afternoon. It's still on. It's still being negotiated. Solskjaer still wants it to happen. Solskjaer's been on the phone to him. It's still happening. Dortmund. Look, we're all a bit. We're all a little bit. We're all a little bit fed up with that one. So we're not going to focus on that too much. But what I would say is, bloody hell, the volume was a bit loud. Sorry about that. It's just, it plays up sometimes. I've turned it down a bit. It was a bit loud. How did you change your jacket so quickly? It's magic, says Robert McCormack. So, what are Manchester United going to do next? Tellez and Thiago is what we're going to talk about tonight, because I'm damned if I can talk any more about the lad from Dortmund. Even I, Mr. 90%, does not want to talk about the lad from Dortmund tonight. So we're going to talk about lots of different things, lots of different topics, but we're going to start off with Thiago. Now, the reason I mentioned Thiago is 2 updates here, one from Portugal and one from England, and both in relation to 2 different players. Now, we should give a shout out to @MUFC MPB. He's really good because he actually goes out, gets in contact with people, you know, in different countries and finds a bit of information. And there is a tweet coming from, let me tell you who this person is all about. Writes for the BBC, ESPN. Basically what he's saying, it's true that Manchester United are interested in Thiago's services. Buy and expect to receive an offer from Liverpool from them soon. Liverpool remain interested in him, but they think the signing would be too expensive. And this feeds in to what we were talking about this afternoon. And I personally would say this, that I was just checking the audio levels. So I think with, like, as Christian Falk said on this show twice before, as he said this afternoon, Manchester United, the race isn't over. They don't want to get into the race. They don't want to get in the poker game with Liverpool. But if Liverpool move out of this deal, Manchester United move into it. And I just wonder now, because we're not going to be... And look, we'll talk about Tellez in a minute, but we didn't get Reguilón, and we were looking to get Reguilón, and we didn't get him. I just wonder now, United, I feel they're going to do 2 signings before the end of the January transfer window, and I don't think one of them is going to be a centre-back. So I wonder if we are even going to bother getting a left-back now, and I wonder if the 2 signings could be the lad from Dortmund and Thiago. Now, I don't understand what Liverpool are doing, and I don't need to understand what Liverpool are doing, and you don't need to understand what Liverpool are doing, because we don't care what Liverpool are doing. They wanted Werner, they didn't get him, he's gone to Chelsea. Boo-hoo. They want Thiago, if they don't get him, we could get him. Boo-hoo. I don't know why Liverpool would let those 2 deals go. I think Werner massively improves Liverpool, and I think Thiago massively improves them. But if they have problems with money, they don't want to pay the money, that's up to them. I think if Liverpool do not get this deal done for Thiago, United will move in for it. And I think United are nowhere near this deal for Thiago, but very near. And what I mean by that is that if Liverpool stay in the race and try to win the race, they will win the race. But if Liverpool pull aside, you know, maybe they fancy a KFC meal deal at the service station or whatever like that, and Manchester United will drive through and get this deal. I think. I don't think Barcelona will do it. I don't think Barcelona will do it. I might be wrong. So it could happen. And what I would say about Thiago is, I know we're very disappointed, but I would really welcome Thiago at Manchester United. I think that he just played a Champions League final for Bayern Munich, the best team in the world at the moment, and a fundamental part in that Bayern Munich side. So why would United say no? When, look, with all due respect, I like Fred, I like McTominay, and I like Matic, but this is Thiago. He's better than all three of those. So if we can do it, it'd be a great deal. But as I talk about it, I think, how would Liverpool move aside? Like, why would they move aside? But they did do it with Werner. So let's see what happens with Thiago, because I think if that was going to happen, it would happen towards the back end of the transfer window anyway. But Bayern Munich apparently expecting a bid from Manchester United. I don't want to get my hopes up for Telles. You think it will happen, says David. We're going to talk about that next. And why can't we terminate the contracts of players by mutual consent when other big clubs like Barcelona and Juventus do them with such ease, like Vidal, Matuidi and Higuain, says Sri Aditya. I mean, that's a very good question, you know, and the reason we don't do it is money, money, money. Because if Phil Jones is on 70 grand a week, say, and he's got 4 years left on his contract, that means to terminate his contract, you've basically got to pay him £280,000, £280,000 times 12, which is it's about 3 million times 4, 12 million. You've got to pay Phil Jones £12 million to go. You know, so you may as well try and sell him, because at least you're going to get something back. You know, most United players are on good wages and good contracts. So to terminate their contract means you've got to pay their contract off, which is millions of pounds. Do you think we'll buy anyone else in January if we get Sancho and a defender this summer, says Pete Greg? I don't know. I mean, Igalo will be gone though then. Unless Ollie's playing Martial in goal. Excuse me. Unless Ollie is playing Martial in goal and Phil Jones up top, I don't want to see anyone turn against Ollie. The blame is on the board and the owner's point blank, says Joshua Bowwater. I'm going to talk about Ollie in a bit, actually. I want to get into that, so thank you for that. But let's talk about Telles. Again, I've got to give a shout out to MUFC PB. Give him a follow on Twitter. Doing great things. And, you know, really just try and find information from different sources and searches around a bit. And basically spoke to a journalist in Portugal at Levelas, who is a journalist from Lisbon, and asked him about what the situation is with Telles. And if I translate the tweet, he said, Porto has to sell players, and Alex Telles does not have a very extensive connection to the club, which is why he can be one of the elements to negotiate a sale with. It would be a quality contract, but United should not be the only one interested. So basically what that means is Telles is available. We understand that Telles is available for around sort of 20 million euro, which is what we wanted to play for Reguilon, so the money is there. 28, very good left back, and you know, Chelsea were looking at him before they went for Chilwell, so he ticks all the boxes definitely. And you know, I think a lot of us would like Telles, and you know, Porto have got to sell. But the big problem in that is that other people are interested, and as we've seen with Reguilon, as we've seen with Bellingham, as we've seen with Haaland, we have a very bad record when we have competition for a transfer. We don't normally win it. We've got a very bad record when we have competition. Somebody just said, well, we won the Dan James race and we won the Alexis Sanchez. I repeat, we have a very bad record when we have a race. I mean, I like Dan James, but generally we either lose or win a bad race when we've got competition. So I think if there's competition for Telles, I know that Inter Milan are looking at a left back. I mean, they seem to be looking at everything. So look, my personal feeling, and I'll put it out there, I would love us to buy a left back. I know I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw, but he could get injured and then Brandon Williams plays at left back. I don't want Brandon Williams playing at left back. I really don't. I'd rather see, I don't know what I'd rather see, but I don't want Brandon Williams at left back. I want him moving to the right and he can understudy Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So I do want a left back. And I trust Luke Shaw to probably still be the left back, even if we bought Telles. And I know that sounds stupid, but I do rate Shaw. But we do need a left back. And I was disappointed about Reguilon. I personally think United won't go for Telles and won't go for a left back now. I don't think left back was a priority. I think an opportunity came up. Probably a little bit a year earlier than they wanted it to come up. But I don't think United will go for Telles. I don't feel we will. Mark, the guys from Dortmund, 3 of them, can we ever sign them? Sancho, Haaland, Bellingham, says Mojo. Well, you know what, Mojo? In a funny way, they all could have been at Manchester United right now. You know, Ollie thought he was going to get Haaland at Christmas. You could tell by his facial expressions and the press conferences. Bellingham, we never should have lost that race. And Sancho, we should be signing. So the sad thing is, we should have had all bloody 3. I like to be optimistic, but I'm 99% sure Van der Beek was our first and last signing of the window, no matter how many footballers are linked to us, says Chataniana Ralka. I tell you what, I'm 99% sure that he won't be our last transfer. I do think we'll sign some more players. Welcome to Chris Senderud, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Thank you for joining and supporting the channel, by the way. I was actually talking to Ricky today about the Dublin get-together that we've got booked. We just don't know when we can do it because of COVID. He was getting very excited about that. He was going to book his flight. I said, Ricky, hold up. Matic won't be there. But we have got that booked. There will be others. It is a free ticketed event. So people who become members of the channel, of course, we don't do Patreon or anything like that. So you get a badge next to your name and all that sort of stuff, and the access to the emojis, which are good for the games. But it helps support the channel and it helps us fund these things that we want to do when COVID disappears again, which it will do at some point, and we can get all around the world and, you know, have these meetups, and I can't wait to do it. So thanks anyone who becomes a member. Appreciate that. Sick and tired of these transfers. We know we need a left back. Sure, he's injury prone. Williams can't replace him. We can't even get rid of Lingard or Jones, says Druv G. And you should go bold if Sancho doesn't go to United, says Ali Chowdhury. Well, you can't press a button to go bold. It's a genetic thing. But I mean, I could shave my head if that's what you mean, which I'm not going to do, by the way. Mark, if you bought Sancho in Spurs and get Reguilon and Bale, whose window would be better in your opinion? This is from Kendall. If we get Sancho and Spurs get Reguilon and Bale, whose window would be better? What? A 23-year-old Sevilla left back and a washed-up Welsh winger ahead of Jadon Sancho, one of the best players in the world for his age group. I think I'll take Sancho. I said it this afternoon. I would love to see Bale back in the Premier League, just like I wanted to see James Rodriguez in the Premier League, but I wouldn't want either of them at United because I don't think they're good enough. If you bought Sancho and Spurs get regular, I've just read the same thing twice. Mark, good news, I think. Yesterday, a Norwegian newspaper reported that Josh King has changed his agent, so he no longer has Ollie's close friend as an agent. Hopefully it means that United is not interested, says Per Eric Klassen. Oh, I hope so. And hey, Mark, hope you're well. The problem is bigger than just lack of signings, and we know who is to blame. We need to back Ollie because they aren't, says Adam B72. Well, I want to get into that. I want to get into your questions as well, but let me just go back to let me just get the tweets, because I don't really want to shout the person out, because it just I don't want to be victimizing anybody here. Even though I totally disagreed with what they said. So basically, along the word, somebody tweeted this afternoon that Manchester United, there's a perception that Man United aren't doing that well, aren't operating that well in the transfer window. Really? Actually, their business plan is sound. They're paying the price for previous bad dealings, though. But currently, they don't cave in on deals. They're firm, and they start to erode the build-up of negativity. It's hard to swim against the tide of the past. So basically, I read that, and I don't know whether I've read it wrong, but I read that United are learning from the mistakes of the past. They don't cave into unrealistic demands anymore, and in the short term, that might cause us a lot of pain, but in the long term, it could cause us a lot of gain. And I thought, hold on a minute. We caved into Bruno's demands, Sporting Lisbon's demand 6 months ago. We caved into Leicester a year ago. We caved into Crystal Palace a year ago. On the last day of the transfer window in January, we were running around like a naked man or woman trying to find clothes at any shop that was open, and we basically chucked millions at Agallo. And people say we didn't chuck millions. We paid for that loan. You pay for a loan. You don't just pay the wages, you pay for the loan as well. It was about 2 million quid or something like that. It might have even been 3. So I don't think Manchester United are learning from the past at all. I don't think there's any reason to think that we're going to learn from the past. I don't think we've learnt anything from the past. I think we do the same thing every time. And I don't want to learn from the past either. I don't want to, what are we learning from the past here? If we don't cave into Dortmund's demands, we're meant to high five and beat our chest. Sod off. That's not learning. That's not short-term pain for long-term gain. That's short-term stupidity for long-term stupidity. Sancho's worth the price. Don't fall into this ridiculous trap that United are doing the right thing by not caving into Dortmund for a price that they are quite right to ask of a player that's got 3 years on his contract and is one of the better players in the world in world football at the moment. It's ridiculous. And also, I don't even know what lesson we're meant to be learning here, because what lesson are we meant to learn? Don't pay what clubs want for good players. It will hurt in the short term, but long term we'll be fine. How's that going to work then? Don't pay clubs for good players, and in the long term we'll stick with the crap that we've got, and that's going to make us better. I'm sorry to say that from £1 million that was paid for Trevor Francis back in the 70s to Roy Keane, British transfer record in the early 90s, to what we paid for Rooney, what we paid for Ferdinand, what you pay for what you get. And That's always been the case. And this farcical lie that United need to stop caving in and giving people what money they want for good players, we need to say no. How does that benefit us? How does that benefit Manchester United? In fact, going back to the Roy Keane example, Roy Keane was going to Blackburn Rovers, right? Forest got relegated. Roy Keane was going to Blackburn Rovers. And Blackburn, he had a meeting with Kenny Dalglish on the Friday. And it was left with Kenny Dalglish that he was going to go to Blackburn. And Kenny Dalglish, I think he went away for the weekend, like Cotswolds or Lego World or something like that. And he thought, Monday morning, I've got Roy Keane done. Sir Alex Ferguson swoops in, not on a dragon or anything like that. I don't think he swooped. I think he turned up in a car. And he said to Roy Keane, I want you at Manchester United. And he got him to sign the deal, and we got him. We broke the British transfer record. Imagine if that was now. He'd be a Blackburn Rovers player. And you've got it, so if we're going to learn lessons from the past, maybe learn those lessons. Maybe learn the lessons that if you want to get the best players, you pay the price and you win the battle quick. And, Sir Alex Ferguson, Roy Keane, prime example. Blackburn Rovers thought they'd got him. Even Wayne Rooney, Newcastle were trying to get him. They went in with the fee and United had to go in quicker. Rio Ferdinand, we paid 29 million, didn't we? So, and it's not like they were bad signings. Roy Keane, Wayne Rooney and Rio Ferdinand, three United legends where we had to aggressively go and spend a lot of money on them. So if we're going to learn lessons from the past in this football club, maybe learn the lessons of the past from the greatest manager there's ever been. That instead of this bloody veil of bullshit, that let's bang our chests, we won't be held to ransom. Look at the real history of Manchester United. Look at the real successes of Manchester United, and look at the fact that we were quick, efficient, and we spent the money to get the good players in. This new world of United are operating more safely and sensibly. No, they're losing. They're losing. We are losing ground. We are not efficient, and we are not going out there and getting the best players. And also, the scary thing as well is, in those days where we got Roy Keane and we got Wayne Rooney and we got Rio Ferdinand, there wasn't as much money in the Premier League. You didn't have Evertons and Leeds and Aston Villas spending 100 million in a summer transfer window. So the market was easier to win anyway. Now, Everton have got James Rodriguez. Anybody can go for anybody. So we're actually making our job a lot harder. Thiago will go to Liverpool or stay at Bayern, says Mark Launders. Welcome to Ryan McCarry Sullivan, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Thank you. And also Thierry Hilsarant says, don't worry too much, guys. Name me one player in the Chelsea 11 that gets in our 11. City and Liverpool didn't strengthen either. We just need to trust the young that are coming and Sancho, says Thierry. How many Chelsea players do you want me to put into our United lineup? Reece James is very good. I'm not saying he's better than Wan-Bissaka, but he's very good. I don't think Chilwell's better than Luke Shaw. I agree with you on that. Centre backs wise, yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Chelsea centre backs. Midfield, Kante, Kovacic, I like them. Obviously, we've got Pogba and Bruno. Martial, Rashford, Greenwood over Ziyech, Werner, Hudson-Odoi, Havertz. They've got some good players, Chelsea. They have got some good players. I can see what you mean, to be fair, but they have got some good players. Welcome to Salman Rafiq, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. I totally accept that Sancho worth the price, but we should not cave in for the wage demands. So Thiago, no. Otherwise, we will have new Alexia at Old Trafford, says Chatney. You're comparing Thiago and Alexis Sanchez to the piano player. Come on. Sometimes you've got to pay the price. It's all about the scouting and the recruitment. That's what it's all about. This money excuse, United are right not to cave in. It's got nothing to do with caving in. It's about having a director of football. We've spent badly. I can tell you in a sentence what's wrong with United over the last 8 years, because we've spent a lot of money, hundreds of millions of pounds over the last 8 years. The big problem is no director of football, no idea. We've spent money on crap players. a lot of money on crap players. Or players that are not good enough for United. Danielle says, it's my birthday today, hoping for a young Dortmund winger for my club to arrive via Amazon. Fingers crossed, says Danielle. Happy birthday, Danielle, but it won't be today. Shunik says, hi Mark, any local protests planned in Manchester to voice fans' dissent about the transfer business so far? Can we fans do anything to move the needle? Says Shunik. And Dortmund will not sell Sancho or any key player after the Bundesliga starts unless they force a move. August the 10th deadline was for negotiation. This is not. Says Joseph Heck. And enjoy your conversations, Mark. Is there anything wrong in getting your first option targets and settling for number 2? Is there anything wrong in not getting your first option targets and settling for number 2? I think there is. I don't think there is, but I think there is in relation to Sancho. Sancho is the priority signing. You've got to deliver the priority signing. Welcome to JF Painting, latest member of the Nightstand Members Club. And the fact is that the Glazers should never have been allowed to buy us. They bought us on a loan. Who sanctioned that sale? Absolutely criminal, says Sean Turner. I agree with that. Just to go back to that point, though, do you think there's anything wrong with if you can't get your first option, you get your second option? Because I don't. And I'll tell you a story here. Jack Grealish was United's priority. Jack Grealish was United's number 1 choice for the midfield position. 80 million, no thanks. Donny van de Beek, 35 million. High five! I think Van de Beek was the better signing anyway, but if Ollie wanted Grealish, that's fine. You go to your second option. It works. That is fine. Where it's not fine is when the priority signing, which is Jadon Sancho, forget position, what's your number 1 signing that you need for this team? Jadon Sancho. To not get him, you don't go second option on your priority. You get your priority. And especially when your priority wants to come to the club. So it's not acceptable to go from Sancho to number 2 option, but in some circumstances I think it is. Hi Mark, our net average spend has been close to 60 to 80 million. Signing Sancho plus a left back will make it 140, assuming we sell Smalling. Possible, says Realistic 27. I don't think we will get a left back now. Realistic 27, I don't. How are you, Mark? Serious question. What do you think actually goes on every day in Sancho talks? How does it take so long to discuss? Crazy how long it takes, says Stephen Cherney. You know what, Stephen? You and me both, and probably everybody else who's watching. I would love to know what happens to the talks continue. Because, you know, talks continue. It's on standby. It's unresolved. We've got no idea. What are they doing? Is it like, how are you doing today? Send an email. They reply tomorrow. You know, next day, I'm fine. Next day, how are you? I'm good. You know, that's a week gone. So I don't know. Or are they actually 8 hours a day sat there going, we want this. No, we want this. Well, you know, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I mean, it's a really interesting thing. We talk about it so much, but, you know, at what speed is this being done, and what's the context of that speed? Is it an email every couple of days? Or is it, you know, a Zoom call for 2 hours every day? I would suspect this. Talks continue is like a tent. You know, it can encompass a lot of things. Have you seen that tent in Harry Potter? And from the outside, it looks like a two-berth tent. You go inside, it's like a bloody palace. It's deceptive. So, you know, talks is like a tent for what's going on inside. There could be very little in there. It could just be a sleeping bag. Or it could be a Harry Potter tent with loads going on. But what I think talks continue means is, we've obviously held talks with Sancho and his agent, and we've agreed terms. Dortmund have said what they want, and I think United have just sat there going, let's have a game of Connect Four. I don't know. I actually thought I had a solution. I don't have one. I don't know. If most of Chelsea players don't get into the United team, then how come everyone is saying they'll finish third? I believe you predicted that too. Cheers, says Sam. I predicted Chelsea to finish second, actually, Sam. And I don't think that. No, I don't think you do put many Chelsea team players into a Manchester United team, but I think that's a mix of loyalty because we're United fans. Because I don't think Chelsea fans would put many Man United players in their team. And I think we've got the bones of a good team, but we've also, the main thing, what's the main thing we haven't got that Chelsea have got? A good manager, somebody would probably say. I don't believe that. I'll talk about that in a minute. But Chelsea have got a massive squad. They've got a really good bench. We don't. And Chelsea have got the signings that Lampard wanted, the star players that Lampard wanted. You know, Lampard's stars are going to be Werner and Havertz. Who's Ollie's stars this summer? Van der Beek. You know, he needs more. Hi, Mark. Where can I find past and current financial statements? Trying to start a GoFundMe to raise funds to buy majority of shares, and will you support, says Kalichi. You've got no chance, mate. I mean, no, I don't want to knock your dreams. Of course I'll support it. But, you know, I think these things are... Look, let me say this. Somebody said to me, what can we do? What can we do as United fans, right? I've said this morning and I'll say it to you again. I know everybody means well and I mean well. And I know we get a lot of people watching from all around the world. But Manchester United is a divided fan base. And that's nothing to do with the United stand. You know, we're part of that divided fan base. Of course we are. Some people don't like us in the fan base. But United have had a divided fan base for years. There's different sections. People don't like each other. We're better than you. We don't like you. Whatever. However you want to dress it up. And that still exists. So to cause a problem for the Glazers, you need a United fan base. We're never going to have that. So, well, I'm not never say never. I would love to see that. And the United stand would be part of that if those discussions were wanted to be taking place. But there's too many people who don't like different people. So we're not going to get the United fan base for that to happen, unfortunately. And therefore, the Glazers will win, like they have done for the last 15 years. As for, like, promoting Glazers out, I tweeted something yesterday and got told by a local fan, next time you're in Manchester, you're going in a canal. So, and that's a United fan. So, you know, you say Glazers out and you're going in a canal. So it's just like, and I can't swim, I can. I've got a 10-metre badge somewhere, but I wasn't swimming. I went in the middle. It was only about that shallow. Pretended I was swimming while walking along the middle. I knew the teacher had dodgy eyesight. She said that's some of the best 10-metre swimming I've seen in 15 years. I went, I know. She said you had perfect form. It was almost like you were walking along the bottom. I said, I know. Because I bloody was. Chelsea bought Ziyech and Werner before window opened. Why are we going into the window and then monitoring? Where is the planning? So reactionary, says Kunnel. Jim Ross and Chris Cassianas, thank you. Latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Carson Badley says, Mark, have you seen the GoFundMe that was started for Jadon Sancho at ESPN FC? Yeah, I have. Will Pogba be available to play on Saturday, says Joel Morris. It's looking like it. Previews and everything are going to start kicking in from tomorrow. Got some good content for you tomorrow. Hi, Mark. What's the best way to mobilise fans, get a United fan base, and who should take the lead? Where and how do we start? I think I've answered that one for you, Shrey the Grey. I wouldn't even know where to start on that one, to be honest with you. Sun just said Sancho deal close. The Sun. And supposing we aren't able to make any major signings this summer, where do you see United ending on the table this season? Will Smalling suffice as partner with Maguire if we don't get any new centre-backs? Odion. Well, I did see that Inter Milan are now in the race for Chris Smalling and might offer us up Perisic, which, you know, everyone's going to think then we're not going to get Sancho. So I don't know. I've said the word Sancho and I didn't really want to say it, to be honest with you. But we are where we are with it, aren't we, at the end of the day? Thanks for the sticker, Renate. And Mark, do you think this weekend's results will affect our transfers? We win well, takes some pressure off. We lose, puts the pressure on, says Sean Turner. And Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's what United are doing with Sancho talks. Woodward, insane. Well, there was a super chat a minute, and that's from Realistic 27. There was somebody who said that before about, you know, how could Chelsea come into this transfer window with 2 signings done already and then efficiently grind through more and more transfers, and why United coming into a transfer window monitoring. And I think there's 2 aspects to that. One, you're absolutely right. This is why we need a director of football. A director for a football does a lot of work when when the transfer window's shut. Looking at moving players on, looking at touting to get players in. Proper transfers take months before the transfer window's done. So, you know, we will have been working on the Sancho deal for a while, to be fair. But to be monitoring deals in the transfer window shows that we're not prepped. The question about the result at the weekend, I was thinking about this afternoon, actually. So I'm sure many of you have been thinking about it as well. If we start the season badly and we haven't got the transfers in, it's just going to escalate the frustration. However, what if we beat Crystal Palace? Does that mean we're fine? Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. We must learn the mistakes of the past. And we beat Chelsea 4-0 on the opening day of the season last season. We'd all been saying the transfer window was crap. We haven't got enough midfielders. We haven't got enough attackers. We beat Chelsea 4-0. Chelsea, traditional top 4 club. And people were like, maybe it's not going to be that bad. And what happened? By Christmas, people were saying Ollie out. So beating Palace at the weekend, don't ever fall into the trap of thinking if we win our first 3 games, everything's fine. We don't need the lad from Dortmund. We don't need Thiago. We don't need a left back. We do. Trust your judgment. Trust what you're saying. You know what we need. I know what we need. I think we needed the right winger, Van der Beek, and a centre-back. That's what I felt we needed this transfer window. We're not going to get those at the moment, are we? So regardless if we could beat Palace 4-0 at the weekend. We beat Chelsea last season 4-0. We could go and beat Brighton. But to me, it's a 38-game season in the league. It's a 50 to 60-game season if you do well in the Cups. We ain't prepared for that. So, whatever the result at the weekend, I hope we do win. I think we will win, but it doesn't mean we don't need transfers. Isn't Harry Pinero associated with Sancho in some way? He said it was done to flex a couple of days ago. Thoughts, says Adam. He said it a week ago. He was on last Thursday. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be proved right. I'm one of those people who've been saying for a long time that it will happen. I'm still very confident about it. Yesterday on the Flex and KG show, KG was saying that if by the end of the transfer window we don't have who we want, that we should unfollow and cancel Man United on social media, says Omar. Yeah, well, I don't think that's going to happen, though. That won't need to happen. We always talk about the Glazers and Woodward. Who else is on the board? Maybe a show about the board so we know who else is to blame, says Karim. Welcome to the Members Club, Josiah Broderick. Thanks for joining, pal. I'm seriously worried about the run of games in August. Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs and Everton, says Mojo. We need Sancho for those. And hey, Mark, I think we will get Sancho, but it'll be the end of the transfer window. I don't know what you think, says Night Owl. Well, I've always said, apart from a couple of times where I said it makes sense to do it on the 7th, or we need to do something in the next 48 hours. But I've generally said I can't give you the time or the date that Sancho's going to join. Some people have tried to do that. You just end up. I can tell you now. I think Dortmund player, who we know, will come to Man United, but I'm not going to ever put a date on it because nobody knows that. People know we're talking to him. Nobody knows when it's going to happen yet. Sancho saga is reminding on the Thiago saga when he was leaving Barcelona. Everyone said United, but he ended up in Bayern. I hope I'm wrong, says Bobby. Welcome to the Members Club, Hyatt Shah. Thank you for joining. Not August, I meant October, says Mojo. And if we don't get Sancho this transfer window, I feel we might never sign him again, as many clubs would be ready to sign him post-COVID. To make things worse, he might end up at Liverpool. Sri, I said this to Flex yesterday. If you are that lad from Dortmund and United don't sign you, and then next summer they come back and say, we're really interested, I would say, close the door on your way out. Because I wanted to come to you a year ago. I was desperate to come for you a year ago, and you basically said I wasn't worth the money that Dortmund wanted to pay. I've now got Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona who want me. You had your chance, do one. And also, you're in the Europa League, they're in the Champions League. And that's a scenario that could happen. So it is now or never. And I will not listen to people going, if we don't get him, I will get him next year. Mark, get a beer, have a drink. Why are you talking, bro? Says Jay Perryman. Thanks for that super chat. I want to talk about Ole Solskjaer a bit. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a little bit. If Ole's list was delivered from last January, we could challenge for the title, says Pravul Chandra. The reason of confidence on Sancho seems logical, but can we expect that same sensibility from our amazing board, says Manmit Singh. And Sancho will be with us in a week or two and tell us at the end of the window, maybe. We need to get Sancho over the line as soon as possible, says Lee Mahoon. And welcome to Hayden Campbell, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Chandler says, always heard about Thiago being more of an 8 than a 6 without a lot of defensive abilities, but he's also talked about as being a 6 for us. So how would that work? Well, I think we saw with Thiago in the Champions League especially that he can play in a deeper role. Whether he could hold that midfield or not, I think he could. I mean, did you see Alan against Spurs that Everton have just brought in from Napoli? And I think, Thiago could do that role. But to be honest with you, if Thiago's more of an 8, it doesn't make a lot of sense because you've already got Pogba, Bruno, Van der Beek. We need a holding midfielder the way that we play. So I would wonder if we would play Thiago and Pogba in that sort of deeper pivot with Bruno having more license to attack. We've got options though. Sancho, we've read that one, and welcome to Hayden Campbell. So I want to talk about Ole for a moment. What do we feel about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment? Because I've seen people saying that the coaching isn't good enough, that he gets exposed in games where it's tactical, and we definitely need better coaching at Manchester United. And I think this is something that I've been critical of over time. I mean, Hubert says Ole out. But I must admit, I'm somewhat disappointed that we're going into a new season and in some areas the Ole agenda is coming back again, because I just feel that the Ollie agenda is, for somebody who basically was Ollie out in January, I was like, I just don't think he's going to be good enough. And then we did get Bruno, like I said, and I thought, this is the signing he should have got in the summer, and he wanted in the summer. He's now got that signing. I think Bruno is going to be revelationary, and let's see what happens. And we got third place, and we played a lot better. And that for me was, justification that Ollie, deserved that chance. And I don't feel that chance has subsided or dissipated at all. Connor Lee, welcome to the United Star Members Club. So I don't really know how you can end the season in third, which was, from lockdown to third was really good, what we did. The Europa League semi-final was disappointing, but tactically it wasn't disappointing. It was the defence. We created a lot of chances in that game. We should have won that game. We were actually the better team against Sevilla, which doesn't normally happen. We made Sevilla look no better than us. And, if it wasn't for that back four, we wouldn't have made those mistakes, and I think we would have won that game. So I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still riding a wave of positivity and deserves the positivity from the fans coming into this season. I think there are question marks there, but I think the big thing here is, where is the progression for us to judge Ole, and what's this season going to be about? Because we finished third last year, got to Europa League semi-final. Chelsea have massively improved, so you've got to put them to third and maybe put us to fourth. But I don't think the criticism of Solskjaer's coaching actually swims much at the moment, because he's not been given the players that he wants yet. And I did see improvement in the 6 months after Bruno came in. So I think there's something to work with Solskjaer and the coaching. And look, you can't be Ollie's at the wheel, give him the job, which everybody was. I didn't hear any of these Ollie outers saying when Ollie got the job, don't give him the job. Everyone was on that bandwagon, rightly or wrongly. We all fell into it. So I don't feel that to start saying Ollie out is fair before a ball's even been kicked, because I actually think the evidence over the last 6 months of the season was really promising. We got third place, and the next thing was to get some decent players in and go again. And let's not forget Solskjaer, Carrick, McKenna. They're all inexperienced coaches, really, comparable to most others apart from the setup at Chelsea. And Chelsea pretty much reflected our season. So it's going to be a process. We're not meant to win the title this year. I don't care what anybody says. We're not meant to win the title this year, even if we did get the lad from Dortmund and Thiago. I still don't think we can win the league. So this season's about closing that gap on Man City and Liverpool. But how much would you say is reasonable? I don't think we can close that gap much at the moment. I don't think Van der Beek closes a 30-point gap on Liverpool. I still think a couple of injuries were in trouble. So I think Solskjaer really can't do much wrong for me at the moment. I mean, I don't think what went wrong at the end of the season was on him, and I think he deserves our backing going into this season. How could anyone blame Ollie's tactics when we're losing? We do not have anybody good on the bench to make those changes, says Shawnick. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I know there's some people who don't rate Ollie, and I get that, but I think going into a new season with that agenda against him isn't really helpful. You're going to basically confuse the issue. We need to, the most obvious way to be successful in anything is to keep distractions to a minimum so that you focus on the goal. Well, look, if we didn't bring in the transfers that we want, then the distraction should be the lack of support from the board. That's where the frustration should be aimed, quite rightly. You don't then want to be saying, well, also, I don't like Ollie much either, because then you're going to muddy the waters of your distractions. You can only have so many areas to focus your frustration, and it'd be very dangerous to go into the new season judging Ollie, because your frustration for the lack of transfers could easily transfer to Ollie, and you start being Ollie out, and I don't think that's going to be helpful for us. Look, if we play against Crystal Palace at the weekend and we get beat 4-0 and schooled by Roy Hodgson, Ollie's got a problem. We went into last season saying it can't be Ollie's fault, it's the board's fault, but then he played quite bad tactics till Christmas, and quite rightly he got some of the blame. But I don't think that's going to happen again this year. I don't think we're going to see the back five. I don't think we're going to see the parking the bus and hitting on the brake, which actually flies in the face of a lot of people who said that we can't deal with decent sides, because he did shut down decent sides. When Arteta does it, it's a tactical masterclass. When Ollie does it, it's parking the bus. The truth is, both are parking the bus, but it still shows an ability to shut a good team down. Last season, we got exposed when clubs played with a high press and we failed to break down teams that sat deep. Coaching or player quality, says Realistic 27. But I don't think we did struggle with a high press or teams that sat deep once Bruno came into the team. I don't think we did. I don't. I know we did before that, but I don't think we did afterwards. And how, you know, you can't really go back talking about the losses to Burnley and Watford and Newcastle and everybody else crap we lost to in the pre-Bruno era, because Bruno's here now and Van der Beek's here now. So I don't think going back to those results. I mean, what I'm trying to say is United pre-Bruno and after Bruno were two different sides, and one of them was very poor and one of them is very good. And judging Ollie on the team that didn't have Bruno is irrelevant now, because we do. Do you think we will play 4-4-2 diamond if Thiago signs? A lot of centre midfields and not many wingers, says Dara O'Brien. But then if you buy Thiago and you do get the lad from Dortmund, why would you not play wingers? And United have always been about wingers, so I don't think the diamond would work with United, to be honest with you. Dylan Taylor, Ollie seems like the only manager that can't have good players. Pep came fourth in his first season, spent 200 million on fullbacks. Klopp won nothing until he got Van Dijk and Becker. Well, yeah, I mean, Liverpool improved massively when they did have that amazing Sunner. Ollie and Flick's tactics are similar, but he has the players, says Lyric De Silva. And how many points closer to Liverpool do you think we would have been if Bruno came in last summer, says Joshua Bowater. I think United, I don't know if anyone can remember what City got, but we got about 65 points, didn't we? I think we would have got 80 points with Bruno. It was over, we'd played like 23 games, I think, by the time Bruno came in, maybe 24. Maybe more, actually, thinking about it. And we dropped, off the top of my head, Everton at home, Villa at home, that's 4 points. Bournemouth, Burnley, that's 10 points, adding those 6. Watford we lost to, 13 points. Newcastle, 16 points. You know, Crystal Palace at home. Southampton away was another 2 points. You know, I can think of a good 20 points that I think we would have got back with Bruno in the team, and we got 64. So yeah, I think we would have got 80 points, and that's conservative. So I think we would have got 80 points. So 80 points, would that have put us in second, or would that have put us in third still? But I think that's the aim this season. You know, we have got Bruno this season. Pogba should be fit for a lot more. I'm not looking at this season as where we're going to finish. And I know that's what everybody has to do, where we're going to finish, what position. I'm looking at points total. I don't care if we come fourth and get 80 points, because I know we'll be closer to Liverpool and Man City. And we'll still be in the top 4. You're not getting top 4 if you're not finishing 5th or 6th with 80 points. You're not. I don't think anybody's ever done that. So if we get 80 points, we'll be in the top 4, and that will be an improvement. I don't really care if 80 points is 2nd, 3rd or 4th. I'd like it to be 2nd, but I want 80 points this season, and I think we would have got 80 points if they'd bought Bruno last summer. I know he's on the board, but if Fergie spoke out about the Glazers, it could change. He hates to see Ollie get sacked. He could save United again, says Glenn Tracy. And yeah, I mean, look, the inner workings of Manchester United's board, I don't know. I know many people feel that Sir Bobby and Sir Alex are just on the board as you know, they don't have a lot to do in the day-to-day running of the club. As per our form, post-restart, we had 2.3 points per game over 38 games. That's 80 points, says Pryak. There you go. We can do things in the transfer window other clubs can only dream of, says Marcus Martial. And that's a quote from Ed Woodward. Hello, mate. Love you. Woodward's won it at the end, says Thomas Mendenhall. I mean, look, yeah, I think there's some context here. I would just say I do think that we will sign the lad from Dortmund. But I don't think that should be a reason to say that the window's been a success. Whenever that player comes in, he won't be in for the first game of the season, will he? That's a failure. Whenever that player comes in, we're not got a centre-back. That's a failure. Whenever that player comes in, we only had one signing for the start of the season. That's a failure. So I still think it will happen, and United will deliver it. You know, they'll wrap it up and put a bow on it, and they'll hype it. And people will forget. But the reality is we shouldn't forget. It's not been a very good transfer window, and this deal should have been done way before now. I'm absolutely, and maybe I'm in the minority here, but I'm absolutely furious about clubs that, and Wenger used to moan about it all the time, to be clear, at Arsenal. He didn't like seasons starting and transfer windows still being open, because what tends to happen is badly run clubs like Arsenal will drag transfers out, and then you end up starting the season with players that you don't want to be at the club and players that you want to be at the club. And then 3 games in, you've suddenly got players that have left and players that have come in, and then you're starting the season again, but you might have already dropped points. It's a bloody nightmare. And I actually thought last year the transfer window worked quite well, closing before the season starts, because at least you know what you've got going into the season. It's dangerous because Palace and Brighton should be 6 points, but if we drop any points against them, then questions and eyes will be on why we didn't get the transfer business done. I believe this season the champions will be at about 85 points, says Mojo. I think there will be a drop. It's sad, ain't it, talking about getting top 4. How far have we dropped? We are Man United. We should be winning this league, not battling to get top 4, says Sean Turner. And Gary Douglas, latest member of the United Stand Members Club, thank you very much. And Admiral K, now it's just the fear of not getting any more transfers. I believe we can challenge the title this season with the right transfers. I don't think we can challenge for the title, Admiral. I think we can get closer, but I don't think we can win the title. And Martial FC says, Mark, transfers aside, we need to have a good start or we could be 6 points behind Liverpool already. Looking forward to the match build-up shows. Yeah, I'm very excited about that, and it starts kicking in tomorrow. Look, thanks everyone for watching. Please smash a like on the video. I've purposely not really spoken about the lad from Dortmund, although it does remain positive. He was mentioned this afternoon in the show we did as well. Talks are still ongoing, and there's still a lot of confidence around getting that deal done. The question is when, how, and why. It hasn't happened yet, but let's get it done. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Smash a like on the video. Thanks very much to Surfshark for sponsoring the show. Remember, the link is in the video description. You can get 83% off and 3 months for free. Surfshark, the virtual private network VPN, allows you to watch things in different countries with different online streaming devices that are location specific. Links in the video description for that. Thank you to Surfshark, and I will speak to you very soon.